Afternoon, New
and
Star
New Star
Radio. This
Radio.
is
This is
Philip
Philip
Murphy.
Murphy.
Very
Very
rarely
rarely
present, but I've
present,
been
but I've
told
been
that
told that
reasonably good at
reasonably
these
good at
things,
these
and when
things,
they're
and when they're
very
very
important
important
things happening,
things happening,
I'm
I'm
asked
asked
to do an
do
interview.
an
I've been
interview.
with
I've
New
been with
Star
New
Radio
Star
for
Radio
20
for
years,
20 years, and
I can
I
count
can
in one
count
hand
on one hand
times
times
I've done
done
minister. Well,
minister.
we're
Well, we're
here
here
to
to
interview
interview
His
His
Excellency,
Excellency,
the Minister of State
Minister of
in
State
in the
in
Jamaican
his
Foreign
Jamaican Foreign
Office,
Office, Mr.
His
His
Excellency Mr.
Excellency Mr.
Alando
Alando
Terria
Teria
Lunch.
Lunch.
Minister, I hope
Minister, I hope
I've
I
pronounced your name
pronounced your name
properly, not
properly, not
a
the
usual
usual
Jamaican name.
Jamaican
Minister,
name.
are you
Minister,
hearing
are you
us? Hearing me
hearing
clearly?
me clearly? Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for having me on your program. And of course, I bring warm sunshine and positive vibrations from the beautiful island home of Jamaica. And just thanks for having me. And again, good afternoon to you and to all your listeners.
Minister,
Minister,
as you heard
as
me
you heard
saying,
me saying,
we don't
we don't
invariably
invariably
film
film
telephone interviews,
telephone
but
interviews, but
we see
um,
this interview is so important that we have gone to the effort of filming it. And before we started, we had to make some technical arrangement. Well, Minister, thank you
thank
very,
you
very
very,
much.
very much.
We feel
We feel
extraordinarily honored,
extraordinarily
to have
honored to
you,
have you,
Your
Your
Excellency. So,
Excellency. So,
um, uh,
uh,
Minister,
Minister,
tell us a
tell us a
little about
little
yourself
about
before you went into politics. If I might
if
say
I might
so,
say
you
so.
look like
You
an
look like an
extremely young
extremely
man
young man
to me. Can you tell us a
to me.
little
Tell us
about
a
your
little about
background?
your background. All right. That is very kind of you. So my name is Alando Terrelong. I am the Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Before this, or I must say, I have specific portfolio responsibility for diaspora affairs. Before this, I served as Minister of State in the Ministry of Education and Youth, with direct portfolio responsibility for youth affairs. And I've also served in the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sports. My political journey began in 2014 when I started campaigning for the Jamaica Labour Party in the city of Portmore, soon to be the 15th parish of Jamaica. And I won a seat in 2016, East Central St. Catherine. That includes areas like in Portmore, Gregor Park, Independence City, Newlands, and areas such as that. Then I won the election in 2016, which was really historic after 2 years campaigning. So that was the first time someone from the Jamaica Labour Party was winning a constituency, winning a seat in Portmore since 1980. So you're speaking about 36 years. And then I won my second term in 2020, when again the wonderful constituent of East Central St. Catherine gave me the honor of representing them for a second term. And we prepare for the general elections in 2025, when I will return for the third time as their member of parliament. I was raised in the developing community, or the inner city community of Grand Spen. This was in the 80s. So I was born there. My mom sold at the market downtown Darling Street. My father's a former police officer and bus owner. So I have great grassroots connection. And, it's really helped me in my political journey,
Okay,
to
very much a man of the people. Yes.
a man of the people and a servant for the people, working with the people to build better communities and also to build a better Jamaica. So that has really grounded me in my political journey. It has helped me to remain humble. It has helped me to always have a listening ear for individuals, not to take my position for granted, and also to recognize that others, by virtue of their own experiences, etc., that they too will need assistance, and just don't ever take for granted the things that you have, or the privilege that you acquire, and to always strive for a society that is more equitable, where you balance the needs of all citizens along the path to greater equity and greater equality.
Okay,
I
Minister,
am a
you're told
trained
that you
attorney.
have another
I'm a
appointment. So
trained
thank you very
attorney
much
at
for that
law as
background.
well.
I'm sure viewers and listeners would find that extraordinarily helpful. Now, Minister, talking about grassroots, we're going to be talking about something which very much involves uh, people, the Jamaican diaspora. Clearly, you're here for a very short visit, but do tell us about the diaspora meeting, where it's going to be held, why you consider the diaspora to be so important, that you've actually made a visit all the way from, I understand, Oslo. Probably later you can tell us what was happening in Oslo, but let us know a little about why the diaspora is so important and where it's going to be held.
All right, so the diaspora is very important to Jamaica. Jamaica is one of those countries that actually has a national diaspora policy, and we view diaspora engagement and diaspora contribution to the national discourse as a key part of our national growth and development agenda. So in Jamaica, for the last 20 years, we have had a very symbiotic diaspora relationship, and certainly over the last 80 years, this administration has taken great steps to strengthen our diaspora by virtue of engagement, making the definitive connections with them, and also by seeking to empower them. You will realize as well that the government of Jamaica played a critical role in ensuring that the wrongs that were done to UK citizens, Jamaican citizens during the Windrush scandal, at the very height of COVID, that those wrongs were corrected, and we continue to advocate for the compensation for some of those, for all those persons who suffered, great human rights abuses and the sort of, disregard for their own personal dignity during the Windrush scandal. We continue as a government also to take great fiscal prudence in how we develop Jamaica's economy. So there has been, good growth in Jamaica. Jamaica is now being positioned as destination trade and investment. And the purpose of this conference, the 10th biennial conference of the diaspora in Jamaica, which is going to be held June 16th to 19th in Montego Bay, Jamaica, is to welcome home members of our large diaspora family. And for those of your listeners who might not be clear in terms of what exactly the diaspora
And
means,
viewers also,
diaspora
Minister.
means right. Diaspora means anywhere Jamaican family members are. So you Jamaicans, your children, your grandchildren, we're talking about second, third, and fourth generation of Jamaicans, wherever they are in the UK, Canada, the US, around the world. They could be in Africa, China, South America. That is our diaspora. That is our extended Jamaican family living outside of Jamaica. And we're saying you belong. You belong to Jamaica. You are children of the soil. Jamaica lives in your hearts. Jamaica lives in your mind. And we're saying, come on home for the conference, June 16th and 19th, and learn about ways in which you too can invest in Jamaica, ways in which you can, develop your wealth portfolio in Jamaica. And trade and investment are going to be a very, very key part of the discussions at the Diaspora Conference. We'll
Okay,
also have
Minister.
discussions around education, health, and of course, crime and citizen security, and of course, agriculture and infrastructure development as well.
Minister, can you tell us? That's really excellent what you're saying. We know that remittances from this country, Canada, the United States, indeed, I've got a niece who lives in Australia, would you believe it, Jamaican, as you say, all over the place. But apart from remittances, can you tell us what other material value of the diaspora is able to give to Jamaica, if I can put it that way?
Certainly. So the diaspora also contributes to Jamaica, outside of remittances, to our education and health sectors in particular. We've had more than $98 million of Jamaican dollars of assistance coming over the last year or two in the form of, donations to schools, donations to hospitals and health clinics. Our diaspora members, they're very keen in giving back to, they call it the alma mater, their high schools and their primary schools, and giving back to local community clinics and hospitals that serve the people as well. So always big big donations. They come down several times throughout the year, in particular during the back to school, and they have health clinics, they have school workshops, and we really, really appreciate it. So they, in turn, in fact, contribute to 14% of the GDP of the country by virtue of their remittances. And so this time we're saying to the diaspora that we don't expect you to give, 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 give. We also want you to capitalize, and getting some good returns by virtue of investing in Jamaica. So when we speak about the economy and taking steps to grow the economy, even the Financial Times here in the UK, last year the Financial Times said that, when you look at Jamaica in 2012, Jamaica was on the brink of economic destruction. But now Jamaica is the poster child of a robust and resilient economy. In fact, the Financial Times went as far to say that our Jamaican economists, the stewards of the economy, that they could go to Washington and teach those boys and girls a thing or two about building a resilient economy. So the economy is growing. Debt to GDP ratio has been lowered significantly. It now stands at 76%. And by next year, 2025, once the economy continues to grow at this rate, we're looking at 65% when you look at the debt to GDP ratio. Unemployment in Jamaica is also very low. Unemployment now stands at a historic 4%. Lower than lots of Western countries, that pride themselves as developed nations. And a big part of the success is that Andrew Holness, as Prime Minister, and the government of Jamaica, we have made a concerted effort to invest in our human capital. As we invest in our human capital, we see greater interest in multinationals investing in Jamaica, greater interest in Jamaicans at home and abroad also wanting to invest in Jamaica, because Jamaica is financially sound with great fiscal policies as well.
I can see why you've been appointed
to this particular portfolio. You're an excellent representative of Jamaica. So you've certainly convinced me why the diaspora is important, and I'm sure you've convinced listeners and viewers of the importance of the diaspora. But tell us, Minister, clearly a lot of people would wish to attend this conference, but as you know, the material base of things is extremely important. Are there any plans of chartering, for example, a flight from our flights from this country to make it a bit cheaper for people to attend? Is there any plans to do that?
So we have been having discussions with airline carriers as well to have reduced rates for those dates. So Nathaniel Peart, who is a member of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, he's one of our representatives here in the UK, along with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. We're finalizing those discussions, again, with great discussions with the offices of our High Commission here in London, and so those rates will be published soon. We've also spoken to Eden. I can't recall the name just now, but the Eden Hotel Group, H10, and as well as Iberostar, and they will be giving us, significant rate reductions as well. So those are going to be the two partner hotels for the conference. So we're looking at cheaper flights as well as good hotel rates as well.
I can.
Ocean Eden Garden, Coral Spring. That's the name of the hotel.
Well, yeah,
so
I was going to say,
Minister,
you've got some excellent people within your High Commission, Vivian being one of them. They're really very good at keeping in touch. So we'll certainly make sure that the information about the flights are widely publicized. I'm scheduled to be in. Sorry?
The hotel rates as well.
Yeah, we will Minister, trust us. We'll make sure that's widely publicized. And Vivian is I can assure you, your office in London is extremely good at keeping in touch with the community. They've got a very good reputation. So we'll ensure that happens. We're going to ask you, I know you're busy, Your Excellency, but we're going to ask you a number of wider questions. My colleague, who is a professional presenter, Mauricia, will be joining me in some of the wider questions. But one final question in relation to the conference. Are there any well-known keynote speakers we should, other than probably yourself, any keynote speakers we should know about? For example, is
His Excellency the Prime Minister going to be speaking, for example?
Yes, the Prime Minister will speak at the conference. He will deliver his main address on Tuesday, morning at the conference. And of course, he will be speaking to our diaspora and family members who will be there and just sharing ideas, and then we'll have, again, keynote speakers on trade and investment, representatives from different ministries, and key to investing in Jamaica, representatives from JAMPRO as well, because, JAMPRO, they can work out the right portfolio for investors. When you talk about members from the agricultural sector as well, working with JAMPRO, because there's great demand for orchard crops from Jamaica. Ackee, as you know, is somehow a miracle food, for vegetarians, for meat lovers, and there's the great demand for Jamaican ackee, Jamaican breadfruit, Jamaican mangoes. Oh my God, that is just gold in in its form of flavor. And so great demand. Of course, you already know about the Jamaican coffee. So great opportunities for investment. The market, the real estate market in Jamaica is just booming. And we have celebrities all
Minister, when you
around
say
the
the
world
Jamaica,
investing in Jamaica's real estate market as well.
Very good. I spent some time in Costa Rica, and their
weren't
mangoes
that
weren't
good,
that
I'm
good.
afraid. Nothing compared to Jamaican mango. So you're very right to say how good our mangoes are. And Jamaican cuisine is, we know, is very, very good. So, Minister, you've really convinced us about the importance of the diaspora conference, and I'm sure, and it will be widely publicised. And if we manage to arrange a chartered flight, I'm sure you'll have a lot of people coming. But let's widen, while we've got the privilege of having you here, Minister, we can widen the discussion a little. We understand you were in Oslo, a city I know, actually. I visited when I was a young man. What were you doing in Oslo, Your Excellency?
Right. So in Oslo, I was attending the 30th anniversary celebrations of the International Conference on Population Development. So I was a special guest of the European Parliamentary Forum, as well as the UNFPA, which is the United Nations Population Fund. And I was asked to co-chair the drafting committee to come up with the final statement coming out of that conference. And so it's 30 years since Cairo, 1994, where the world, hundreds of countries took a positive decision to focus on the rights of youth, the rights of women and girls, and just to remove them from the sort of brink of marginalization and recognize that women have rights, the rights of children, the rights of girls in particular as well. So the conference was just looking at where we have come as a world, as a global family, in terms of population development and the rights of girls, women, children, and marginalized groups. So it was a very successful conference. And again, the working out of the United Nations, it's always a pleasure just to be a guest of theirs as well, and to be able to sit on these high-level panels and discussions.
Very proud to hear. Talking about women, I have got a woman, an excellent woman beside me, Marisha. So I have a number of other questions I want to ask, but just to have a woman's voice, Marisha will no doubt pose some questions to you. I can tell you I have no idea what she's going to ask you. So there she is, Marisha.
Good day and greetings, Minister, and to each and everyone who's logging in from across the world, UK, Jamaica, or the Caribbean. Yes, Minister, we welcome you onto New Style Radio, and my show is the M Nature-Vated Drive Dive. In regards to the women at the conference, what programs are you looking to get engaged with to empower women? Because as we know, when you empower women, obviously males and females are both equally important, but when you empower women, you empower the family and the communities. So what special programs or workshops or seminars will you be holding within the Jamaica Diaspora Conference? If you could tell us that, please.
Oh, well, certainly. In Jamaica, it is really the men who are marginalized in Jamaica. Our women hold the seat of power across business, across companies. The judiciary, the legal profession, the medical profession. Listen, we have women who are now driving the buses and the taxis, etc. So empowerment in terms of women and girls means something very different in the Jamaican context or in the Caribbean context as opposed to, let's say, within certain parts of Africa or the Middle East or Eastern Europe, etc. So it's a different concept. But certainly we're looking at women in agriculture, we're looking at women in STEM, women in tech. Those are some of the featured programs that we have looking at generally in Jamaica, and I'm sure some of this will come out in the conference as well. The Ministry of Agriculture, they have a concerted program to get more women in farming. Again, recognizing that an empowered woman means an empowered nation as well. And of course, training our youth in the tech field. I'll tell you about this wonderful program that the Jamaica government has, the Heart Training Institute, which is really the national skill set training agency in Jamaica. We are training our youth, both men and female, in robotics, in high level tech, artificial intelligence, ICT, high level construction and logistics and those sort of fields. The jobs for tomorrow, we're training and empowering them, and that is what it means when you invest in the human capital of Jamaica to ensure that we continue to drive the unemployment, which is at a historic low 4%, to drive it down to zero, because we want all Jamaicans employed, but we also want them to have the skills that they need for tomorrow. And these are some of the things that have made Jamaica very attractive in terms of investors, multinationals coming to set root in Jamaica, and also that's driving the investment of Jamaicans and Jamaicans in the diaspora in the Jamaica's economy, because we believe in the empowerment of everyone, and of course a great focus on our youth. So even for the diaspora conference, there's a special call for second, third and fourth generation of Jamaican youth living in the UK, of course Canada, America and across the rest of the world, to say, listen, come to Jamaica, invest in Jamaica, you belong.
Minister, thank you for that great explanation. But I can ask you one more question. In terms of, as you know, in terms of the diaspora, we have the JDUK, and I'm one of the members of JDUK. And in regards to the aims and objectives of JDUK, will in the future you be seeking, when you put on other conferences, to maybe have some special places where people from the diaspora, whether it's JDUK or wherever the diaspora or across the world, will you be finding a route to enable some of those key lead members to attend the conference within Jamaica, and also possibly run some integrational workshops so we can work cross country, across each different nations, to build economic, cultural exchange programs?
I thank you for that. It's a brilliant question.
And so the government of Jamaica, we have two key mechanisms by which we work with the diaspora. So we have the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council and we have the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council. And they work primarily with diaspora organizations such as yourselves. And one of the things that I've asked them to do whilst planning this conference over the last several months was to get, moderators and panelists across the diaspora as well, so that they too can be a part of, or play an integral role rather, in the discussions. So we do have members from the diaspora, across the world, who are going to be panelists, sharing their wealth of knowledge and expertise. They're going to be moderators as well, because this is the diaspora conference. And at the diaspora conference, we give voice to the diaspora as we work together, focus on the theme of the conference: united for Jamaica's transformation, fostering peace, productivity, and of course, youth empowerment.
It's absolutely brilliant, Minister. I'm now going to hand you back to our Director of New Style, Philip Murphy. Thank you so much, Minister. I hope next year I can maybe attend this great diaspora conference that you're going to be holding annually. Thank you so much, Minister.
Minister, I mentioned how professional your people in your office.
So I'm hoping to see you in Montego Bay in June.
But it's not often we
the ministers as a captive to interview. So forgive us if we exploit the opportunity to raise some wider questions. Okay, thank you, Minister.
Which is in 5 minutes.
Minister,
So
we want to widen the discussion.
I have another interview
now,
for 4:30.
As always, punched above its weight always, whether it's in sports or economics. Jamaica always done. It's extraordinary. Now, can you? We're going to talk a little about Jamaica's wider role in the world, and in particular close at home in the Caribbean. Now we know about the very, very unfortunate issues taking place in Haiti. It is extraordinarily sad.